Welcome back to Community Real Estate Talk Show. I'm your host, Tyler Freed. You're listening to Clay 1180 AM. Thank you for joining us today. We've got one more guest. I'm really excited about it. Up-and-coming real estate agent in the Seattle area, Andrew Kim, also happens to be a fellow Coug. Go Cougs. I've got him on the line here. He's going to kind of give us an idea what's going on in the real estate market, and he let me know that he wanted to talk a little Mariners baseball, so we'll get some chat in on that. So I'm going to patch him through right now. Andrew, you there?
Tyler.
How's it going, man?
It's going really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking some time. Sorry you couldn't get in the studio, but I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, Seattle traffic today is pretty wild. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I was letting the listeners know that you are the up-and-coming real estate mogul in the Seattle area, and you're doing really well. What's the year been like for you for working with some buyers and sellers?
Sellers are having a good time. Buyers, on the other hand, are not. It's been pretty wild. Lots of offers, 29 offers on a townhouse in Ballard last week, 10 offers on a house in West Seattle. So it's real competitive out there. You have to have all your ducks lined up, but the houses are out there. So,
are you finding that buyers are overpaying if they're competing with 30 other buyers, or is it are they listing them low, or that's just kind of the trend?
I think it's kind of all over the board. With some people might be overspending a little bit just because if they fall in love with the house. I know particularly the one in West Seattle, it was the buyers who got it had written 4 other offers. So I think at a certain point you just are ready to open up the checkbook. But pricing, we have heard the term recently, price it high and watch it fly, just because currently there's not a whole lot of inventory and sellers are getting able to get top dollar.
It sounds like an episode of Survivor, who can survive through making offer after offer after offer and still stick in the game to get that house. Is that kind of what you're seeing?
That's totally what I'm seeing. There's a certain inspectors that we use who, we'll do 3 inspections and then the 4th one will be free. We don't
Nice.
like that, but that's just kind of the name of the game. Some people have bowed out just because you get emotionally invested in it. And then if you don't get it, it kind of weighs on you after a while.
Andrew, how do you keep their spirits high?
I have found out that the perfect house is out there. While everything works out in the end, I've had a number of clients who have thought they loved the house, and then the house that they ended up buying, it just worked out better for them, and they ended up being happier. So you have to kind of set the stage right from the beginning and let them know what kind of market that we're in and manage expectations. That's been the biggest thing.
Do you find it tough to have them not get emotional about these houses?
You have to tell them right from the beginning, we're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to write your offer to make sure that it looks the best decision for the seller to go with us. But in the end, sometimes it just comes down to a dollar figure, and you have to be okay with the walk-away number. You have to know that if you get outbid by $1,000, then you have to be okay with that.
Listeners, just join us. We're speaking with Andrew Kim. He's at the Windermere Real Estate office in the Northwest office, and local Seattle real estate expert. And he's just kind of giving us some information on what's going on in the crazy market right now and how to succeed. And he's got some steps to win multiple offers, and I'm sure we'd all like to hear those. AK, you want to give us a heads up on those?
Yeah, I think it's preparing yourself before you going in there, doing all your due diligence to make sure that you're not putting too many contingencies that might hinder your offer in the eyes of a seller. Pre-inspections is one of the big ones. Going ahead and before a lot of sellers are waiting to review offers, so if you have a few days to go there, do a sewer scope, and then you can kind of just waive that inspection contingency. That's probably the biggest one that we're seeing. If you go in there against another offer and you have an inspection contingency and someone else doesn't, your offer probably won't get taken.
I'm glad you mentioned that sewer scope. That's a big deal. That can be really pricey. Can you let the listeners know what that involves?
A sewer scope, it's pretty quick. We just call one of these guys out there. They stick a big snake down either clean out or through the toilet and just look at the sewer line to make sure there's not any offsets, any breaks. That can be an expensive fix down the road. It's a few $100, but it's definitely a few $100 well spent.
let's throw the seller's hat on. Obviously, it's awesome to be a seller right now if you've got a nice house that's well taken for in a desirable area. How do the sellers determine the best offer? Is it always the highest offer?
It's not always the highest offer. We're starting to see offers that are a lot cleaner. They have less contingencies, less ways for a buyer to get out if for some reason something were to come up. So it doesn't always determine on price. A lot of the times it's the terms that come with the offer.
Okay. And pretty fun. You just teamed up with your sister, and you guys you're taking it on as the siblings.
We're the King County Dynamic Sibling Real Estate Group, I think.
I love it. Is that website taken?
I have yet to Google that. I should probably do that today, huh?
Oh, I love it. So that's working out good. Is she kind of handling your buyers, or how are you guys doing that?
She's kind of handling the buyers. I'm handling the sellers. She also a fellow Coug.
Go Cougs.
Been for about 7 months, and right now she's learning the contracts and what it really takes to represent our clients well. So she's learning it all. She's been a huge asset for me. Her background in marketing has been extremely helpful for us, and she's going all in, and I'm really proud of her.
Andrew, how substantial was going to Washington State, being in the Greek system, getting a degree from there, but really the contacts? Has that just really helped skyrocket your business?
It really has. I think that being in the Greek system and having this support from a network like Washington State University, everyone likes to work with fellow Cougs. It's been great, and went tonight with Cougar football, saw you there, ran into a lot of people I haven't seen for a while. It's just, I couldn't be happier.
It's a lot of successful people. It's really fun to see other people doing well, and I'm glad that you're doing good. Andrew's was also my little B in the fraternity of Alpha Tau Omega, Roo Ra Rega. And it's good to see you doing big things, and it looks like you just joined the Standards of Practice Board.
I've been on with the Windermere Standards of Practice for the last 5 years, actually.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's really nice to sit there with a group of fellow brokers and discuss, kind of set the bar high for our industry standards. We want to make sure that we're working at a level that other real estate companies are not, and I think that's really important and why Windermere has such a great reputation in and around the Puget Sound.
Are there a lot of probably different issues that are coming up with days on market for homes right now? Are you guys discussing some of that?
We are. It's been really tough where a seller will want to review offers on a certain date, but then they might take an offer earlier. We're starting to see some of those issues arise, and with this Standards of Practice Board, we kind of are able to talk about that, what you're supposed to do in that type of situation, let the other brokers know. So it's been a little challenging. This market is making for some interesting stories at these meetings.
Continue with that. I mean, what do we expect for the spring market heading into summertime?
I don't have the March stats out right now, but the number of active listings in February of this year was 1,036 for the Seattle Metro.
Okay.
And the months of inventory supply is only at 1.2 months. So we're going to start to hopefully see a few more homes coming on. Last week we're starting to see kind of 1-to-1 rate, one house coming on, one house going pending. So if we stay with that trend, I mean, if we're still going to see the same type of craziness for a little while.
Kind of leads us into, the Seattle market didn't get hit nearly as bad as the rest of the nation. Are you seeing REO or foreclosures or pre-foreclosures out there?
They're out there. They have really decreased in the numbers that they were, say, 2 years ago.
Right.
You can still find some short sales, but the appreciation has really helped a lot of sellers who were on that kind of borderline of being underwater. And, year to date, there was about a 17% appreciation on average throughout the Seattle Metro. So that's huge.
Those are big numbers there. I mean, you're on the radio, you've got thousands of listeners in front of you. What's your announcement to sellers right now? Is it time for them to look at their equity situation and consider putting their home on the market?
I think right now is a great time. I think for them, they'll be able to get a lot of more money than, say, if they waited, because they're not going to have to go against more competition that we might see towards the end of spring, beginning of summer. And it's also going to help out the buyers out there. We get, hopefully, that 17% appreciation will taper off, because I don't know if we can withstand those kind of numbers for years to come.
So you're thinking there's a good window of opportunity before everybody says, hey, the weather's looking good, let's put it on the market?
I think right now is the best time. There's going to be a lot of people who are having that discussion, oh, well, we can start painting now that the weather's getting better. But, the more competition you're out there, the more choices buyers are going to have. So
we had the economist on last weekend, and he talked about just the very little inventory, like we've been going back and forth on, but especially in the condo market. And I know you do a lot of condos in Seattle. What are you seeing out there?
I am seeing that our inventory in the condo Seattle market has insanely dried up. If you're looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in downtown Belltown, it's going to be really tough for you to find. We've actually been kind of going back the old school way of almost door knocking to find our buyers' places, finding them properties that are not currently on the market just because they're not there.
Are these buyers more active in their search than they've been in the years past?
I think nowadays with technology, it's so easy to pull up a search app on your phone if you're walking in front of a building and you see a for sale sign. So I think that people are really invested, but also we have to live our lives where we can't always be searching. So that's why we're here, to make sure that they're getting the houses as soon as they're hitting the market, so we can do the due diligence to make sure that everything is lined up for when you're ready to put the offer together.
Andrew, we got time for one more question here. And the best way to get a hold of you is to go to andrewkimhomes.com?
Correct. You can go there. You'll be able to search properties on that website. You can look up, there's a link to some school information if you're unfamiliar with the schools. So it's a really good website, andrewkimhomes.com.
Excellent. And I always want to ask, what area do you think is going to get hot next? Are people doing a little urban sprawl to the outside of Seattle?
I think so. I really like the North Kennydale area. Your buck stretches a little bit further out there, but also West Seattle. I mean, going over there compared to what you can get for Ballard, it's hot.
I love it. Andrew. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you spending some time on Saturday, and I wish you well. I hope things keep going good for you up there, and it's always good to catch up with you.
Hey, we're going to see you down in Palm Springs in a couple weeks, right?
Yes, these agents, we do have to take vacations. We do have to find some sunshine and have a good time every once in a while. So we'll be there at Stagecoach, living it up, representing the Cougs.
Tyler, thanks for having me on. Go Cougs.
All right, Andrew. Talk to you soon, man.
Bye.
Take care. So that ends our show here today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I appreciate you guys listening to us. We'll be back next Saturday, 1 o'clock. You're listening to Clay 1180 AM. I'm Tyler Fried. This is Community Real Estate Talk Show, and we'll see you next week. Go Cougs!